rest are all bundles of hundreds.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
This is Dan McAllister, the treasury tax collector.
These guys said I owe money, and I want to know how that obligation was created. Like, they wouldn't give me a bill, they wouldn't give me like an invoice of what
Do you have a bill?
I have this letter that I received in the mail.
But that's your tax bill, right? That's
Yeah, but I want to know.
Are you Joseph?
That's me, yeah.
Okay, and so how much does it say you owe?
$2,000.
And why do you think you don't owe?
I didn't make an agreement. They wouldn't give me an agreement. There's no like
a state law.
No contract.
There's a state law.
That's
but somebody wrote down on this paper.
But also, nothing I agreed to. There's no agreement that I signed.
Right. And none of us did. But the reality is we all have to abide by the law. And so if the state legislature passed the law, it becomes the law of the state, and people voted in the law through the initial process or whatever, then you pay. And if you don't pay, then you get penalties for not paying. But you assume for a second that I have anything to do with it, and I don't. I just enforce the law.
Yes, there's tons of passing the buck in government. We all know this. I don't believe in shakedowns. I think people should actually own their property, right? Shouldn't we own property in America?
We should own property.
Yes. So that should be that we contract with people to get services. We don't have them imposed on us against our will.
Right. But I think you've got a bigger beef than the state legislature.
Oh,
that's
yeah, I got lots of beefs.
So,
I mean, we all generally like a free market. We're all basically voluntarians.
I'm with you.
And so the more things we can have done in a voluntary fashion, right, rights-respecting fashion,
right,
then we have a win-win scenario. But here's like a win-lose scenario.
It's pretty simple. The law says he pays. If he doesn't pay, he gets penalized.
Law, you say. I never signed anything. I never made an agreement.
Nor did I.
If I go to a state, if I get a bill from a company,
any of the
because
million
I
taxpayers that always pay their taxes in San Diego County. This is a free country, and you cannot pay the bill, and you have the right to not pay the bill. But the law says that if you don't pay the bill, then we can impose penalties on you for not paying the bill, and if you don't do it for 5 years, we'll sell your property.
But that's actually theft. I mean, that means he didn't actually own his property.
We're just enforcing the law.
Do you consider yourself a moral person?
Sure.
And do you see stealing as being immoral, taking someone's property?
No. And
it's not immoral.
We're not stealing.
Really?
Really? But I'm not stealing. I'm enforcing the law.
No, but you said
you don't have the law on your side.
Where do you derive the right to do that? That's our issue.
It's a law.
Okay, so where does the law give the right to do that?
It's your legislators that pass the law.
What do you do with those strangers? We don't know them.
They represent you. Are you registered?
They presume to represent us.
But you know what? It's a circuitous discussion, and it's one continuous circle here. And there's no end to it.
The nature of government is denying responsibility.
And that's your opinion.
Really bad actions.
And that's your opinion.
No, the marketplace doesn't do this kind of thing. Only government is the entity that basically tells people do this or else.
Right.
And that's not a very healthy way to interact with people. And that's the main issue.
Again, it's not an issue for me. It's an issue for you.
Your opinion doesn't hurt anyone else. Your opinion hurts me. And if I resist the people that come to forcibly remove me, what's going to happen?
Right.
May I have your attention, please, all you taxpayers? I'd like to ask a question. How many of you think this is your legal responsibility every year to pay your taxes on time so you don't incur stiff penalties from the government for paying late?
And how many people
isn't that why you're here? Because these gentlemen
think
contend that they do not have to pay taxes because the laws don't apply to them. Now, I'm just kind of curious. Isn't that a different kind of approach here?
I'm overtaxed. My house is only worth $130 and I was taxed on $220.
I don't want my property stolen from me, so I'll get the money in the form of tribute, not by my own voluntary agreement, but under duress. I didn't have a contract. I didn't sign it.
That's like saying if I move into a neighborhood that has the mafia there, that's going to shake me down or burn down my building if I don't give them the money every month, then I have to just put up with that.
Well, again, you know, I think that your view, in my opinion, is pretty narrow and myopic. And if you choose to believe that way, that's your opinion. But that's my belief. So you have to respect my belief under the natural law. I disagree, and my job is to enforce the law the way it's used to play.
No, I think you need to count out all those dollar bills for her.
So there's another level of violence on here too, because all these supposed currency items are fiat. They're actually just paper with print ink on them, and they have no real intrinsic value, no subjective value that the marketplace would determine to be beneficial. I think it's lost about 97% of its value.
Count it out for her, one bill at a time, to show her that it's the amount you said it is, because that's what she said you owe. Okay, and that's what your bill says you owe. You count it out for us, and we'll take it. Okay? You're not an exception to the rule, sir. Just because you think you might be better than everybody doesn't mean you are. Well, you're acting like it.
You're the one that's forcing me to pay this. Yeah. You're going to take my house and put it.
I'm not forcing you to do anything.
This is what it's all about, getting your hands on my money. I do not agree to this transaction, and I'm giving you this money under duress. I'm paying this as tribute to your organization to keep the peace for one more year. To prevent that point somewhere in the future where someone from your organization puts a lien on my unalienable right to own property. And obviously the main contention here is they don't believe that you have a right to own property. Then they send the men armed with guns to forcibly remove Joe, using deadly force if he actually resists, right? What does ownership mean to you? If the state comes to your home, demands a pound of flesh, and then kicks you out, and does as they wish with your property, all because you did not comply, did you ever truly own it? This is exactly what is happening here. It may not seem like it because each step in the process is so removed, and most people comply at some point. So if this is how the state acts, does private property really exist in this country? You don't do the dirty work yourself, but you are responsible. You don't see the violence that your organization perpetrates against peaceful people. You work for a violent monopoly. This is a coercive monopoly. The services are imposed on people. They're not voluntarily contracted with. You need to understand the harm your organization causes. Joe's been stolen from in the past. Every person involved knew it was wrong. They didn't claim any right to do so. Joe never saw the guy again, nor did they ever steal from him again. He took steps to protect himself from people that steal. But this organization, however, claims some sort of legitimacy, so they steal, as you're doing right now, and keep coming back with these tax bills every year, and there's nothing I can do to protect myself from this. I want to expose the gun in the room, that your organization operates through the barrel of a gun. This perceived legitimacy will be shattered, and when that day comes, mankind, humankind, will have taken one giant leap towards complete liberty. There's a nice concept. After learning about liberty and the tyranny of the state, I could no longer pay this tax without some sort of a fight. This is a peaceful fight, we should say. We're advocates of a peaceful, voluntary society where people interact in a voluntary fashion. Consider this my attempt to inflict a spiritual toll on you by exposing the immorality of your work.
Excuse me. Have you worked in the private sector before you came here?
You can probably direct all questions to Mr. McAllister's office if you need assistance.
I'm just asking you personally, though. Because I did 5 years in the Marine Corps, honorably, and I've been a government contractor now working on Marine Corps aircraft for about 3 years, but I'm going to quit my job pretty soon because I don't agree with what I'm doing. If the money is stolen from you or stolen from this woman over here, I don't agree with that. So I'm currently involved in an immoral act by accepting that money, and I understand that, but I also have the integrity to admit it.